Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Thursday, July 11th. Today is the day that we get another inflation reading, the Consumer Price Index, and it'll probably show a tiny improvement, nothing major. And I don't think this changes much about the economic story. We know that inflation is slowly retreating. We know that the Fed is going to meet later this month. They're not going to do anything. That puts September as the next possible meeting that we could see a rate cut, but we'll have to just wait. And until then, we get to answer your financial questions. Remember, this is the program that tries to help you make better decisions about your life, about your finances. If you have a question, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and let us know if you would be willing to come on the air with us live. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. And of course, check out our service called Jill on Money Live, where you have access to quarterly live webinars and lots of bonus video content. We're about to drop the second part of our Social Security special right behind the paywall. So if you want to check that out, you're going to have to join Jill on Money Live. $35. It's for a whole year. So don't stress too much. We are going to continue to clean out our inbox, so let's get ready for some emails. This is from Mary, who writes, I love listening to your show and how you objectively unwrap guests' financial situations to reveal if they can accomplish their goals. So Mary goes on to write, I'm in my mid-40s. I'm a single mother of 2 elementary-age kids. I've saved $1.2 million in retirement accounts. Oh my gosh, she's only in their mid-40s. She's got $180,000 in a brokerage account. Her kids have fully funded 529 accounts that would cover a 4-year state school. And Mary's house is fully paid off. It's worth about $500,000. Okay, she goes on to write, I make $150,000 a year, and I would like to scale back to working 2 versus 3 days a week at age 55. My monthly expenses are $8,000 a month and should decrease to $7,000 a month when the kids go off to college. My Social Security benefit at my full retirement age is $4,000. I have no debt. Okay, I think this is the question. I'd like to do some renovations to my home and add a pool, but I wanted to know if I should work more to increase my pay, which is feasible in my line of work, or if I can afford to use my brokerage account to fund the renovations. I'd love your advice on this. Thank you so much. Well, Mary, first of all, it looks like you are in very good shape. I mean, to be in your mid-40s with over $1 million in retirement accounts and having that big fat brokerage account, it's all great. I wish I had you on the air with me live because I want to understand if increasing the amount of work you do is a real burden or not. Ideally, I would love for you to do some combination of working a little bit more and also drawing down on the brokerage account. Again, I don't think that it is impossible to draw the brokerage account down, but I don't know how much we're talking about. Are we talking about completely depleting the account? If that's the case, then at some point you want to replenish it. And I don't know if that's better off done now or whether it's better off done in a few years. So I think that all of this is quite doable. I think we want to know, are you thinking about $180,000 of renovations in a pool? If that's the case, then at some point you want to actually make sure you get that money into a brokerage account to help you afford that slowdown in your work life in your 50s. But if it's just a fraction of it, if you're saying, oh, I only need 80 grand total, then go ahead, do it. So I think it works. But if you'd like to follow up, then please do so. We'll bring you on the air. It's not a problem. Okay, our next note is from Phoebe, who writes that she's been listening to the podcast for a while and she thanks us for what we do. That's very nice. And she also says she's learned a lot from the shows, but she's not brave enough to come on in person yet. So easy. You can change your name. It's not a big deal. All right. She says, we're a couple, 52 and 54. We live in Southern California. My job may be ending soon in a year because the company's not doing well. Oh my gosh, she made $380 grand in 2023. Her husband is self-employed and made $150,000 last year. We have 2 children. One is launched. The younger one is 19 and is a sophomore in college. In retirement savings, check this out, gang. This is a big number. 401k and IRA combine for $3.4 million. Of that 3.4, almost 600,000 is Roth, the rest is pre-tax. There's $52,000 in an HSA, $80,000 in a 529 plan, cash of about $58,000, and a big brokerage account, $613,000. Yearly expenses run at about $100,000 after taxes. All right, let's see where we are. They save $30,000 each in their 401ks, because they're over 50, and $35,000 in an after-tax 401k for her. They also contribute the full amount for a family HSA. Their Social Security at their full retirement ages of 67 would be about $3,500 and $3,300. They've got 4 rental properties in addition to their primary residence. Yowza, that's a lot of work. Okay, the primary is worth $2 million. The remaining mortgage balance, $464,000 at an interest rate of 2.75% for 30 years. The 3 rental properties, each worth about $800,000, one worth $1 million, very low mortgage rates, and the mortgage amount about $1.3 million. They're all cash flow positive. When they look at all 4 of those together, they must be after all the expenses. They make about $27,000 a year. My question is, if I were to lose my job next year, can I just retire? My husband will continue the business for a few years. He'll make about the same amount of money. We would like to help our children financially in a meaningful way, say by helping with down payments of their home purchases in the future, but we want to enjoy what we've built. We've been saving for so many years and working in very demanding jobs. Do you think we can pull the plug? I think you can. I think that it is also worth considering whether or not you should keep all 4 of these properties, because it seems to me that you have a lot of money that is kind of set in equity in these rental properties, and they're generating good money, not great money. So I would be very critical in your analysis of whether each of these rental properties is worth keeping. You know, I know altogether you're giving me the number, but maybe one is not performing as well as the next. And maybe you could use that extra money to add to your brokerage account because you are in your 50s. If you want to meaningfully help your kids, I think that that's going to have to be sort of a question mark. I don't mean that you can't. I just mean that it's so far in the future, it's hard to know. So if you're really freaked out about that, then go get another job. But at the meantime, I think you got a lot of money. You've got a lot of equity in your rental properties, and you don't spend that much. So I think you should be fine. And I would certainly encourage you to take a deep breath after you leave this job and see what else is out there. I mean, you are young also. So I don't know if calling it quits right now is really going to be what gets your yayas out. That's the other thing. Okay, just to keep that in mind. All right. Tori writes, Jill, it would be helpful if you were to do a segment on I-bonds. I, like many others, purchased them in 2021 and 2022 as a hedge against inflation. I haven't purchased any new ones since CD rates are better, but should I ride out the 5-year hold period to avoid forfeiting any interest, or just get out now? I don't need the money, but if there's a better option that's relatively safe, I'm interested. Love, love, love the show. I think Mark's going to maybe have a different opinion about this, but since he's not here right now, I'm going to go for it. I think that just wait the 5 years, because I think what's going to happen is that CD rates, they are going to probably be coming down in the future. And if you really just don't want anything risky, this is your real safe money, the only alternative I would say is selling them and putting the money in, say, a 10-year bond or a 5-year bond, a government bond. But other than that, if we're just talking about I-bonds to CDs, I'm not sure I would do that. Okay, this is from Deirdre, who says, I'm on the fence about whether I should invest in index funds or in a higher interest CD. Deirdre, come on, those are 2 different animals. We're talking about risk and no risk. Let's find out about her. She's 60 years old. She's going to work until she's 67. I'm generally a low to moderate risk investor. Already, I think low risk, then index funds, not so hot. Okay. I would like to continue to grow my money with minimal risk. Everyone getting the message here? Moderate, low risk, minimal risk. Keep saying this. $30,000 right now that she has is available to invest from a regular savings account. Any suggestions would be appreciated. Okay, Deirdre, I need to know way more about you. What is this money for? When do you think you might need it? If you are really freaky about risk, and this is money that you would really hate to lose, then go out and buy yourself a long-term CD and call it a day. Don't worry about it. But if this is money that you hope to grow over time and you don't need it for 10 or 20 or 30 years, well, then I might say let's put in a nice mix of index funds and don't mess with it. But given your words, and I take your words very seriously, low to moderate risk investor, I would like to grow my funds with minimal risk. That to me suggests that putting your money at work in the stock market would be really detrimental. I just think you wouldn't be able to handle it. Okay, this note is from Ed, who writes, I have enjoyed your show for several years, and I've also watched you on CBS for many years. I listen to many people on the show who are fortunate to have generous pension plans. When I was offered a pension plan, I decided to cash it in rather than take the monthly pension because I would only take the pension if I chose it with the spousal benefits, meaning that I would not get 100% of the monthly payments, but my wife would have some income if I were to die. In doing research before my decision, I learned that many people take the full monthly singular payout because they may not have a significant amount of retirement savings. But of course, this can be dangerous if the spouse with 100% monthly pension benefit dies soon after retirement. That is so true. Oh, Ed writes, oh, this is terrible. Unfortunately, my wife passed away in March after being diagnosed with AML in November of last year. She was in perfect health her entire life. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. And it was a cold reality when her Social Security and small pension were stopped immediately the following month. It basically cut our retirement income in half. Fortunately, I'm somewhat comfortable financially. I can manage with the decreased income. But I would assume that the combination of an unexpected loss of a loved one and also the loss of income can be devastating to many people, especially if they are not prepared. It's just a cold reality that people need to take into consideration when they are planning for their golden years. Ed, I can't thank you enough for writing this. You know, oftentimes we'll hear from you guys and you'll say, oh, should I take the 100% option or should I take 50% survivor? And I think that Mark will always pop in and say, if it's not that different, if it's a few $100s a month and your spouse can get 100% of the income for the spouse's whole life, you know, if you get this amount of money for your whole life and then your spouse gets the same amount of money for however long they live, that's a really good trade-off for a lot of people. And I do think that these terrible surprises in life are reminders that some of the big decisions we make that are, they're these big decisions that are irrevocable. You can't go back and change them. They're so important. So if you have a big decision like that that's looming, get in touch with us. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and let us know if we can walk you through that decision and think through how the pension option or whatever option you're considering might play out for you, but also your spouse. I'll tell you one thing. After doing the interview with Heather Schreiber, the Social Security expert, it reminded me that so many of the elections we're making for Social Security also have huge ramifications for our spouses. So these are things not to be taken lightly. Let us help you out. So just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and of course, let us know if you would be willing to come on the air. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And also, of course, lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.